Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my out-of-box review for the HG Gundam Thunderbolt Atlas Gundam. So here we finally have a look at the first ever model kit form of the Atlas. This design has been around for, I guess it's maybe about 2 years or something. From when it first appeared in the manga. It's been a little while, but it hasn't been around for that long, so it didn't take them too long to get a model kit made of it. But from when I first saw the design and since then, I never really expected to get a model kit of this, just because the design just seems quite complicated, and just because we just didn't really get that until just recently, and even still as recently, we haven't got that many kits from Thunderbolt in general. But yeah, we got it, and I've got to say, I don't want to say that this kit is like more difficult than the average HG, or that it's like somehow like more complicated than the average HG, because it's really not. And I feel like that would be just kind of reductive to say that, but it's definitely different from the normal HG, and I don't know, but I think a lot of the Thunderbolt kits have had that kind of similar feeling to them. So this one, yeah, it definitely has a different feeling, especially like if you're someone who hasn't really built a whole lot of kits. Maybe you've only built a couple of like HG Armed Blood Orphans kits, and then maybe a couple of the HG kits or something like that. And then you build this, you're definitely going to feel a difference in it. So I don't know, something to think about. This kit has a lot of stickers for one as well. I've used all of the foil stickers, and then of like the marking stickers, I've actually used a good amount of those. Maybe more than half, I guess. A lot of like the really tiny ones I didn't use. I just didn't bother. I focused on like the large and kind of medium size marking stickers on there. So you'll see some of those around in the kit, and most of them look pretty good. As I've said before, I think when it comes to those marking stickers, personally I wouldn't use them on a painted kit, but like on just a snapped kit like this, I think they look pretty passable, especially like the more recent ones. They look pretty passable as long as you're using them on a light color. So all the stickers that are here, that are mostly all on the white, and then a couple little ones on yellow parts as well, look pretty good. There are a couple stickers that I've put on like the darker parts on like the torso that actually look pretty okay, except the red. The stickers are mostly like in white, black, or red. And the red color stickers on the dark colored parts, the red is not bright at all, unfortunately. So let's talk about some of the articulation and all of that. So there's just I want to go around and like actually point out all the stickers for you guys, but I'm kind of dreading doing that because there's just so many stickers everywhere. But let's talk about the head first. The head. One thing I forgot to mention, interestingly, I didn't notice this in the unboxing, but I didn't even notice that this kit doesn't have polycaps. That's definitely one interesting thing to note about this, because it's not often that we have a kit that has no polycaps at all, especially in the HG line. So that's definitely one unique thing about this. So one thing that I've noticed, the head is kind of very loose on here, because I feel like if that was a polycap, it would definitely have a tighter fit. But so the head's got like the neck has like a double joint, so the articulation of the neck is really quite good. As you can see, you can get the head like really far back, and then obviously forward is not going to be any problem at all either. So pretty interesting neck joint. Like when it's fully extended, it's kind of like the head sits really high up off the torso. But anyway, sticker there for the eyes, of course. There's no sticker on the front or back of the head like for cameras. Like this, it's supposed to have like 4 little cameras like around the face, but it's like such a tiny detail on the HG here. Obviously a bunch of marking stickers here. I've got some on the shoulders, on the front of the shoulders, on the front of the chest there. Here's one that I was talking about like a sticker that's on a dark color armor piece, which would normally not look very good, but I think it's passable. The problem with sticking stickers like that on darker colored parts is that you can really see the outline of the sticker. And it's not that bad in this case, I think, compared to past ones that I've seen. So I don't know if this sticker is slightly thinner or something, but whatever the case is, for this yellow lining on the top and bottom here of The torso, that's stickers, that yellow lining on the side of the torso, that thicker lining there, that's stickers, this yellow lining going around here, around the edge of the torso, that's foil stickers, this yellow lining on the upper arm, foil stickers. These stickers here on the joint caps, that's there's 2 on each elbow, inside and outside, and then 2 on the knee joints as well. So those are probably the biggest and the worst stickers. Where else do we have stickers here? Going around here on the back, this is one big yellow sticker that goes down the back of the Gundam there. Here on the legs, you can see there's like this like gray line that wraps around like over the top of that calf part. That's a foil sticker that you're sticking over that. One thing I've noticed on mine, I don't know if anyone else noticed this, is that this kneecap part, this white part here is really loose. It doesn't really seem to be held in there really well. So that comes off really super easy. I would definitely recommend gluing that in place. So let's talk a little bit about the other articulation here. In the torso, we have some really nice articulation here as well. Forward crunch and backwards is really nice. So we have some really nice articulation in the stomach section of this kit. And obviously moving side to side and all of that is fine. Crunching side to side though is not going to happen. You can get some rotation here. This is like at the base there, you can see the whole thing will kind of move. But I think that's more of like the hip joint moving, and that just the whole thing kind of moves along there with that. In the arm, it's pretty standard articulation here. The arm joint, the shoulder joint is going to come up like that, and then you can extend the arm only up to there because then it's just blocked by the shape of the shoulder armor right there. So you can really only get the arm up to about that high, but it's definitely helped by the joint being able to swing up like that. And then just standard arm articulation here, rotation at the top, double joint there at the elbow, giving you a pretty nice solid bend there for that. The wrist is just on ball joints, and the wrist is, yeah, again, without any polycaps. It's kind of odd, and it works well enough, but you can see it's like a really deep ball joint in there that it pops into. And then, yeah, here at the waist, the front skirts are joined, but you can clip those apart to separate them. And those are just like that. Really big, kind of ugly diaper-looking waist unit here. The back skirts are pretty much exactly the same as the front skirts, except they can't be clipped apart. Those are just fixed in place, as usual for an HG kit. And see, there you go. One of the knee armor parts just fell off for no reason. And the hips are also just going to work pretty standardly, and then just rotation at the top, and then just a double joint there in the knee. So although like the joints have a very weird look, they still operate pretty much exactly the same. And again, just even though they're not using polycaps, there's some like parts in this where it's like a plastic part. It's like the exact same shape as a polycap, so it's like really not that much difference, except like the plastic material is slightly different. And then going down to the ankles here, the ankle joint doesn't actually rotate side to side, but the foot parts you can move. Let me try to show you this properly. Just these foot parts move side to side like that, and you can also move the toe up. But yeah, it does that. It comes off. This is another thing where I feel like if having some sort of polycap system in place would have helped, or this just doesn't seem to be that secure. It's kind of similar to the knee, how this just like pops into there, but it doesn't actually click into place. It just kind of rests in there, and it's not held by that much friction. The ankle part also rotates side to side. So when you want to set the foot like to a sideways angle like that, you have to rotate the toe, the front part of the foot and the back part of the foot separately. Those both like plug into the center part, and I feel like they should have designed that in a way so that those plugs line up with each other, so that when you rotate, like say for example you rotate this front part, the back part would rotate along with that, but they didn't design it that way, so it seems kind of silly. But forward and back movement is pretty good as well. Back to there, forward to there. So overall, the articulation of this kit is really nice. But we're going to get into one of my biggest complaints of this kit now, and that is the articulation of the sub-legs. So here on the back, let me fix up my focus here for you guys. Sorry about that. I don't keep my camera on autofocus while doing reviews because it would just be autofocusing all over the place the whole time, but try to keep that in line for you guys. Anyway, so we have some rotation there where this is just basically plugged on where you would attach some side skirts. So it's just a really big long peg there instead of any side skirt for this kit. Let me pull this off so you can see that. Just this big long peg. Just this plugs onto there, so you can rotate it there. You can also rotate this around this axis here. And then this is all just one solid piece there. So not only are these parts supposed to be white, they're not white. And this is all just one piece, so we don't have any articulation there. The first point where we get articulation is down here. At that point, we get some articulation there. No rotation there, so it rotates this way, but it doesn't rotate the other way, which is disappointing, and that does make it difficult for posing this, I've found. But here at the end, for this part, it does rotate like that, moves up and down like that, and then these can actually be the like two halves of this main parts here can be rotated separately. The thrusters kind of at the end, I know this thing is kind of, the Atlas is upside down, but bear with me here for a moment. These thrusters here also rotate back and forth like that. Try not to knock the piece off of there. But I think that is pretty much going to cover it as far as articulation goes. One thing that I like about this is kind of cool that I guess this is like where you're supposed to house like the rifles, the machine guns, the assault rifles are like technically supposed to be in there, but this like doesn't actually open up. If you wanted to fake it, you can maybe like take these things apart, and you'd have to like empty this out. You have to just cut that up a bunch and do a lot of modifying, but I think you could fake it if you were doing that for like a diorama or something. So overall, the mobile suit, I think quality is good. There's a few things that I would maybe change, but overall, it's pretty nice. It does have some different hand options. These are the only other hand options that we have are just trigger finger hands. Again, these are for the weapons. We have the two assault rifles, and then we have the railgun. So here's that, very long, and I've put some stickers on here as well. All the stickers that you're meant to put on this thing. So looks like this. I think it looks better kind of like this without that support piece on it, but then it kind of looks a little bit plain, I guess. But this support piece is to help support that under the arm. So I haven't actually tried this actually attached onto the arm yet, but it seems like with that support piece it should hopefully help with the stability of this, but we'll just have to see. We do also have a couple of clear pink beam saber effect parts. Now these are 1/100 scale, so they're very large. Compared to the kit, you can see they're actually the same height, actually just about the same height, slightly taller than the Gundam itself. The handles for the beam sabers are located here in the shoulder. You just lift up this white part, and they're just kind of chilling in there. So it's going to be actually kind of hard to have to just like knock it out of there. It's not really any easy way to take that out. Just some really tiny little beam saber handles, and then you have this really huge beam saber effect coming out of it. So it looks a bit odd, and it just fits into the hand like that. Not really the tightest fit there, but it does work pretty well. So that is the beam sabers. Then just stand that up here. We do have an action-based connector. It's very strange looking because this has a very strangely shaped waist. So this is our action-based connector. This also can be connected up underneath like the blade shield when it's used as like a sled for like its submarine mode. You can use this up underneath that as well. So speaking of which, here's that. Relatively simple. It's just like one big huge gray piece, then you're just putting these three pieces over the top of that, and this one like handle piece you attach onto the back. So like this this stand action-based connector can be used up underneath like that when you're using it in submarine mode. We do also have another piece. This is another like connection support piece. So like with the railgun, it has that support piece. This is also a support piece to help support the shield connection to the arm. And there's like the manual shows a few different ways to actually use this, so I'll have to try that out. But there's that. And then as I've been mentioning, we have the assault rifles. So we have a set of 2 of these. They're supposed to be like two-tone gray color, but they're just in like this dark navy gray color. Yeah, I really like the design of these for sure. So I'll probably actually end up just keeping these and giving them to a different kit, because with the Atlas, I mean, you have this like huge railgun, and this is probably something that I'll just keep with the Atlas. And then these, with the, like I said, you can't actually put them in the sub legs, so if there's not really anywhere to store them on the kit, might as well give them to a different kit. So it's probably what I'll end up doing with mine. But let's get to some posing here. So if I had to choose one word to describe this flight mode, I would say it's goofy. Just the whole sub legs in general with this kit. I mean, a lot of the design of this kit, I really don't know what to think about it, to be honest, because it's so weird looking, a lot of it. I mean, just the Gundam itself, a lot of the aspects of the Gundam itself, like most notably the joints, of course. are those globe joints. That globe joint system is so goofy looking. The sub legs are so weird and so different. So like, I really don't know what to think about them, but like in some ways they're really cool, kind of, and like in their uniqueness, and they definitely like have a very interesting shape to them. So I don't know. This is just a Gundam design that I really just can't decide if I like it or not. I think I'm just going to be forever on the fence, and it just depends on the pose maybe, and just like the way that I'm looking at it, I guess. It's definitely a really unique design, and I can appreciate that for sure. And I think given the proper work of like painting it up, like with the legs of the sub legs, they're just being like all in that dark gray, looks kind of like super plain compared to like the rest of the kit, where they're using the stickers or not. Even without the stickers, there's a lot of like color breakup between the yellow, white, and gray, and like the darker navy part up in the torso as well. But then you have like those like sub legs, like the mechanical arm of that, where it's just like all of this dark color. It just looks a little bit odd. It definitely doesn't match the look of the rest of the kit. So this is a kit that I think is definitely going to require some paint, and it's just got so much just of like this really fine detail that's just not the kind of stuff that's very easy to paint. I guess that's probably the thing that would make this as something that I would say is not recommended maybe for beginners, especially if you want to paint the kit, because a lot of the painting that this kit is going to require is kind of complicated painting for sure. And if I had to describe this submarine mode in one word, I think the word would be ridiculous. It's so weird that you can use the shield and the sub legs to turn into basically what looks like just a big sled, like a big bobsled, and then you're gonna, I don't know, but yeah, then it's supposed to be for using underwater. And I mean, again, one thing that you guys should also take into account as you're watching this and as you're leaving comments or preparing to leave comments on this review, just remember that I've not read the manga, so I haven't actually seen of any of this mobile suit like in action, and I'm really not all that familiar with like what it does in the story and like what it's actually capable of doing. So just keep in mind that this is a review of this model kit and has nothing to do with what the Gundam is actually does in the story or is able to do in the story or anything like that. So you guys shouldn't really take that into account or consider that in this review. But anyway, whatever this does in the story, in model kit form, it looks quite silly, but I don't know, that's sometimes something that people can appreciate in a model kit. I certainly appreciate unique stuff sometimes. I wouldn't pose this kit like this permanently, but it's interesting, yeah. Alright, so one thing that was always going to really be my concern about this kit was those weapons, with those weapons just being very large. I mean, the weapon, the railgun being very long, and then the shield also being quite large and heavy. I was wondering if it was really going to be able to hold them up, and just from what I've done with the kit so far, it does actually seem to be quite secure. And I think just the way that the kit was designed, actually not using polycaps was probably a good idea, because I imagine that probably using polycaps would have made those joints maybe a little bit more susceptible to be sagging down. The way they are now, just that plastic on plastic does seem to be giving a little bit better friction to hold up those weapons just fine. The connection for connecting the rifle, the connection for getting the railgun onto the hand there, onto the arm, is really quite simple and seems to work really well, and it's very secure on the arm. The shield is a little bit more tricky, because you have to kind of put the handle in the shield, and you have to put the hand on the handle, then you have to put the connection piece on the arm, and then you have to put that connection piece onto the shield and the hand also into the arm simultaneously. It's a little bit complicated, and if you knock off one part or something like during that process, then the whole thing just gets messed up, and you have to kind of start all over again, and it's a little bit tricky to get that shield like onto the arm, but it does seem very secure. You can actually attach the shield onto the side of the arm or the back of the arm. I think 99% of the time I always usually prefer shields mounted on the side of the arm. It just seems to make more sense rather than on the back. But if you, for whatever reason, did want to put the shield on the back of the arm, there is the option of doing that using the same connection piece. You just connect it on in a slightly different way. So overall, The weight issues of this kit seem to be pretty non-existent. I know you guys are seeing it wobbling a little bit there. Sorry about that. It's just kind of how it is, unfortunately. But yeah, so probably the biggest disappointment for me with this kit is just that the sub arms, the sub legs, don't have more articulation in them. That's just kind of one point that I wish that this kit had, was just at least 1 or 2 more little points of articulation among those sub legs. Otherwise, pretty much everything else, I mean, the amount of stickers and all of that, that was to be expected. I mean, if you know what this mobile suit is supposed to look like, there's no way that they're going to make this in HG without having a bunch of stickers. So that I was not surprised by that at all, so therefore it doesn't really disappoint me at all with this kit. I think that Bandai has done a really good job of actually translating this design, which is a really quite complicated design, into an HG kit and into such a pretty nice, actually a very nice HG kit. It does everything that it's supposed to do really well. It has the flight mode, the submarine mode, it has the huge railgun, it has the huge blade shield, it has the assault rifles. This is actually a really super nice kit. It's just a kit that if you're going to be painting it, it's just going to be a little bit more complicated to paint than your average kit, but overall, I gotta say, it's actually a really, really nice kit. Definitely one of the best ones in the HG Thunderbolt line so far. Granted, there aren't that many kits in the line, but anyway, highly recommended. Now, if we're gonna be getting a master grade of this kit, I really don't know. I'm really about probably 50-50. I think there's a good chance, but there's also a good enough chance that Bandai will just be typical, like, random Bandai and just do something totally different and just not do a master grade of this for whatever reason. So I don't know. I really don't know about that. We'll just have to wait and see. If they make a master grade, it will definitely solve a lot of these sticker issues, which will be nice. So we'll just have to see. Otherwise, though, this HG is definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of the design. So check it out. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching. Thank you, as always, to MindFenix Hobby Store for sending me this kit. I know this review has been a little bit longer, but this is obviously a little bit more complicated kit, so thank you guys for sticking through it. If you do still have any other questions or comments, though, you can leave those down below. I'm sure there's probably some stuff that I did forget to mention or something, so let me know. I'll try to answer any questions that you guys have. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.